Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston, Chapter 8, Myths and Tales of the Cymry. Pwyll, head of Hades. Pwyll? Okay, we'll find out how it's pronounced when we get to the end. The first of them is the story of Pwyll, Prince of Dyfed, and relates how that prince got his title of Pen Annwn, or head of Hades. Again, Hades isn't quite, more like the Jinn realm. Annwn being the term under which we identify in Welsh literature the Celtic land of the dead or fairyland. It is a story with a mythological basis, but breathing the purest spirit of chivalric honor and nobility. Pwyll, it is said, was hunting one day in the woods of Glyn Cuck when he saw a pack of hounds, not his own, running down a stag. These hounds were snow white in color, with red ears. If Pwyll had any experience in these matters, he would have known at once what kind of hunt was up, for these are the colors of Thari, the red-haired man. The red-eared hound are always associated with magic. Pwyll, however, drove off the strange hounds and was setting his own on the quarry when a horseman of noble appearance came up and reproached him for his discourtesy. Pwyll offered to make amends, and the story now develops into the familiar theme of the rescue of fairyland. The stranger's name is Arawn, a king in Annwn. He is being harried and dispossessed by a rival, Havgan, and he seeks the aid of Pwyll, whom he begs to meet Havgan in single combat in a year hence. Meanwhile, he will put his own shape on Pwyll, who is to rule in his kingdom, till the eventful day when Arawn will go in Pwyll's shape to govern Dyfed. He instructs Pwyll how to deal with the foe. Havgan must be laid low with a single stroke. If another is given to him, he immediately revives again as strong as ever. Pwyll agreed to follow up the adventure, and accordingly went in Arawn's shape to the kingdom of Annwn. Here he was placed in an unforeseen difficulty. The beautiful wife of Arawn greeted him as her husband, but when the time came for them to retire to rest, he set his face to the wall and said no word to her, nor touched her at all until the morning broke. Then they rose up, and Pwyll went to the hunt, and ruled his kingdom, and did all things as if he were monarch of the land. And whatever affection he showed to the queen and public during the day, he passed every night, even as this first. At last the day of battle came, and the chieftains, like the chieftains in the Gallic story, Pwyll and Havgan met each other in the midst of a river ford. They fought, and at the first clash, Havgan was hurled a spear's length over the crupper of his horse and fell mortally wounded. We see here that we have got far from primitive Celtic legend. The heroes fight like medieval knights on horseback, tilting at each other with spears, not in chariots, or on foot, and not with the strange weapons which figure in Gallic battle tales. For the love of heaven, said he, slay me and complete thy work. I may yet repent that, said Pwyll, slay thee who may, I will not. Then Halfdan knew that his end was come, and he bade his nobles bear him off, and Pwyll, with all his army, overran the 2 kingdoms of Annwn, and made himself master of all the land, and took homage from its princes and lords. Then he rode off alone to keep his tryst in Glyn Cuck. Cuck or Cooch, or how's that pronounced? With Around, as they had disappointed, Around thanked him for all that he had done, and added, when thou comest thyself to thine own dominions, thou wilt see what I have done for thee. And they exchanged shapes once more, and each rode his own likeness to take possession of his own land. At the court of Annwn the day was spent in joy and feasting, though none but Arun himself knew that anything unusual had taken place. When night came, Arun kissed and caressed his wife as of old, and she pondered much as to what might be the cause of his change towards her, and of his previous change a year and a day before. And as she was thinking over these things, Arun spoke to her twice or thrice, but got no answer. He then asked her why she was silent. I tell thee, she said, that for a year I have not spoken so much in this place. Did we not speak continually? He said. Nay, she said, but for a year back there has been neither converse nor tenderness between us. Good heaven, thought Around, a man as faithful and firm in his friendship as any have I found for a friend. Then he told his queen what had passed. Thou hast indeed laid hold of a faithful friend, she said. A lot of questions be brought up in that sort of thing. But sometimes people look very similar. And, some wives will memorize your fingerprints, and stuff, but some won't. And Pwyll, when he came back to his own land, called his lords all together and asked them how they thought that he had spied in his kingdom during this past year. Lord, said they, thy wisdom was never so great, and thou wast never so kind and free in bestowing thy gifts, and thy justice was never more worthily seen than in this year. Pwyll then told them the story of his adventure. Verily, Lord, said they, render thanks unto heaven that thou hast such a fellowship, and withhold not from us the rule which we have enjoyed for this year past. I take heaven to witness that I will not withhold it, said Pwyll. So the 2 kings made strong the friendship that was between them, and sent each other rich gifts of horses and hounds and jewels, and in memory of the adventure Pwyll bore thenceforward the title of the Lord of Annwn. And, to compare the realms, in Arabic there is Janut, Nasut, of which the human being and the human body and the physical realm is. You have the Malakut, the light beings. The Janut is the Annwn, really, which is not technically the realm of the dead, but shades of the dead, jinn that remember the humans and act like they're the dead sometimes, are just presumed to be the dead more often than anything. Remember my painting over there, that there. And you got the Lahut, which is our way of understanding God, but it's not the essence of God, as one would say. The essence of God is beyond even the names.